Hi everybody! We are back with our paleontological adventures, specifically stories about fossil plants from private collections. This is half of a petrified cone of a primitive conifer tree. Conifer actually means cone-bearing. It's a true rarity because the location it came from is now a protected territory situated near the southern tip of South American continent in Patagonia, Argentina. Most of modern-day conifers, like pine, fir, or spruce, have needles to perform photosynthesis. However, Araucaria, the tree that produced this cone, had scale-like leaves. Approximately 160 million years ago, a Jurassic forest of large Araucaria trees was suddenly covered by volcanic ash. The volcano erupted at the time when the cones were reaching maturity. The elongated structures of milky color on the surface of the cross-section represent seeds. They were placed in between woody scales. It should be noted that Araucaria forests still exist in northern parts of Argentina and even in Patagonia, for instance, Conguillio National Park in Chile. Due to their abundance during the Jurassic period, Araucaria trees likely represented a staple food of plant-eating dinosaurs, like long-necked sauropods, mostly quite large creatures that constantly munched young leaves, filling their bellies with enormous amounts of low-calorie food. I wonder if the seeds were also included into the diet of other animals that took advantage of this resource. The scientific name of the Araucaria trees that produce these well-preserved fossilized cones is Araucaria mirabilis. Mirabilis means wonderful or marvelous in Latin. By the way, the word Araucaria is derived from Araucanos, which refers to the native people of Patagonia, also known as Maluche, or more recently, Mapuche. Spaniards called the territory inhabited by Mapuches Araucania or Araucana. To dig deeper into the related history, there was a long Arauco War, La Guerra de Arauco, during 16th and 17th centuries as part of the Spanish conquest of Chile. It was described in famous poem La Araucana, often compared to Homer's Iliad. Now it's time to leave the Triassic forest and move to the swamps of the Carboniferous period. Approximately 300 million years ago, the territory of modern-day central United States had a warm and moist climate where primitive plants thrived in massive quantities. Here's an example of the typical Carboniferous plants, ferns. In fact, it has imprints of two different types of ferns. This rock came from a coal mine in Alabama and is a curious byproduct of a once thriving industry. Back then, during Carboniferous times, plants grew fast, producing tons of organic matter that eventually became a source of coal deposits. The coal itself is almost pure carbon, with no signs of plants left. However, the plants that got mixed with fine, sediment-like mud left plenty of imprints, allowing the reconstruction of ancient ecosystems. It consisted of large tree-like plants called lepidodendrons. When the scaly leaves of lepidodendrons fell off, they left scars on the trunk, and this is what we see on this fossil. Each species had rather distinct patterns of scars. This particular one likely belongs to Lepidodendron aculeatum. The fronds, leaves, and scales of Carboniferous plants relentlessly transform sunlight into the energy of chemical bonds of organic molecules, like sugar, to be used in biochemical reactions. By doing that, plants were capturing carbon dioxide from and adding oxygen to the air. An enormous amount of carbon was accumulated as organic matter, which became coal. Humans appeared much later and found the way to dig out coal and utilize the energy of an ancient sun to fuel industrial revolution and power up production machines, steam trains, and steamboats. Sadly, it also resulted in pumping back tons of CO2 into the Earth's atmosphere. Most lepidodendrons had only straight stalks. The branching started at the end of the life cycle, when plants reached maturity and were about to produce spores. By the way, plants that reproduce only once in their lifetime are called monocarpic. Now, I want to talk about false trunks of tree ferns. They have a complex anatomy, but I think it can be simplified by saying that they consist of a bundle of roots and leaf petioles, mixed together to support each other like threads in a rope. The roots are round and smaller in cross-section compared to petioles. Such a structure was not only strong and flexible, but also allowed to absorb the moisture all the way along the false trunk. The closer to the top of the plants, the more frequent the petioles are, and the less frequent the roots are. That's going to be it for today. Please make sure to check out the description of this video for links to our other videos about Carboniferous plants, petrified wood, and many other types of fossils. You will learn a lot of interesting facts, for sure. Thanks for watching, and goodbye!